Time is a relentless thief. Given enough centuries, it steals entire civilizations. Given enough millennia, it erases mountain ranges. And given enough eons, it obliterates entire species from the face of the earth. We look at the fossil record and see the bones of giants, the Tyrannosaurus rex, the Triceratops, the mighty mosasaurs. They were the rulers of their age, the masters of the land and the shallow seas. But 66 million years ago, a rock from the stars slammed into the Yucatan Peninsula, bringing with it fire, ash, and a winter that lasted for generations. The dinosaurs burned. The great marine reptiles starved. The world ended. Or so we thought. While the surface of the planet was engulfed in flames deep beneath the waves, in the crushing cold and eternal dark, a shadow was watching. It did not burn. It did not starve. It simply swam on, indifferent to the apocalypse above. This is the story of the survivors. The monsters that time forgot. Descend with me now, down to the bathypelagic zone, 1.50 meters below the surface. Here, the pressure is crushing, and the temperature hovers near freezing. In this realm of shadows, meet the Hexanchus griseus, the Bluntnose Sixgill Shark. Look closely at this creature. You are not looking at a modern animal. You are looking at a ghost. While modern sharks, the great whites, the hammerheads, the makos are the feroris of the ocean, evolved for high-speed precision hunting, the sixgill is a tank built from ancient blueprints. It is a slow, heavy, lumbering giant, growing up to 5 meters in length. Its most striking feature is its eyes. They are not black voids, but brilliant, fluorescent emerald orbs. They are engineered to capture the faintest photons of light that trickle down from the surface, or the bioluminescent flashes of prey in the dark. It is a gaze that has witnessed the rise and fall of worlds. Its name betrays its primitive lineage. Almost every modern shark species swimming in our oceans today possesses 5 gill slits on the side of its neck. But this creature has 6. This extra slit is a relic, a biological echo from the Jurassic period, over 200.000 years ago. It connects this animal directly to ancestors that swam in the oceans before the first flower ever bloomed on land. And like the restless great white, which must keep swimming forward to force oxygen-rich water over its gills or risk drowning, the sixgill possesses ancient ability. It can stop. It can rest. It lies motionless on the muddy seafloor, pumping water over its gills with its cheek muscles, looking like a submerged boulder. In this state of suspended animation, it conserves precious energy, waiting with the patience of a stone, but do not mistake its sluggishness for weakness. The sixgill is an ambush predator of the highest order. It moves through the water with a terrifying, silent grace. Its skin is not smooth. It is covered in dermal denticles, tiny, tooth-like scales that reduce drag and silence the noise of its movement. It is a stealth bomber made of cartilage and muscle. When it decides to strike, the illusion of lethargy vanishes. Its jaw is not the complex, extendable mechanism of the Goblin Shark. It is a simple, brutal hinge, lined with rows of cone-like teeth designed to saw through flesh. It attacks with a sudden, violent burst of power, thrashing its massive head to tear chunks from its prey. It eats anything it finds: crabs, rays, other sharks, and even the carcasses of fallen whales. It is the ocean's ultimate opportunist. For millions of years, humanity looked at the ocean's surface and believed we knew the rulers of this planet. We were wrong. We build our cities of steel and glass, we fight our wars, and we write our histories. But down here, in the silent, glass sponge forests of the abyss, the sixgill shark pays no attention to our existence. It survived the meteor that killed the dinosaurs. It survived the ice ages that froze the continents. It has survived everything the universe has thrown at this planet. As it fades back into the crushing darkness, one question remains: when humanity is gone, and our cities have turned to dust, will this ancient sentinel still be swimming in the dark? The answer, written in its emerald eyes, is almost certainly yes. Science is a pursuit of truth, but it is often blinded by its own certainty. For over a century, paleontologists studied the fossilized remains of a bizarre, armored fish known as the Coelacanth. Based on the geological layers of the Earth, the scientific consensus was absolute. This creature died out alongside the dinosaurs 65.000 years ago. It was a closed chapter in the book of life, just another victim of the great extinction. But the deep ocean does not read our books, nor does it care about our timelines. In 1938, off the eastern coast of South Africa, a local fishing trawler hauled up its nets. Among the usual catch was something impossible. A ghost of the Cretaceous period, gasping for air on a wooden deck. The scientific shockwaves were unimaginable. It was as if someone had found a living, breathing Tyrannosaurus rex walking through a modern forest. This was the Lazarus taxon, the creature that rose from the dead. To find this phantom today, we must journey to the treacherous, underwater volcanic slopes of the Comoros Islands, or the deep canyons of Sodwana Bay. We descend to 100 meters below the surface, leaving the sunlight behind. The terrain here is harsh, jagged, and riddled with deep, lightless caves. And there, hiding in the shadows of the volcanic rock, avoiding the modern world, it waits. The Latimiria chalumnae. Illuminated by the artificial lights of our submersibles, the coelacanth is a creature of breathtaking, ancient beauty. It is a massive fish, growing up to 2 meters long and weighing 90 kilograms. Its body is shielded by heavily armored, overlapping scales colored in a deep, cosmic steel blue, speckled with white spots that look like stars in a night sky. But its true marvel lies not in its armor, but in its movement. Look closely at its fins. They are not the thin, fragile rays of modern fish. They are thick, fleshy, and muscular. These are lobe fins, supported by internal bones and joints. When the coelacanth swims, it does not paddle like a normal fish. It moves its fleshy limbs in an alternating, diagonal pattern. Left pectoral and right pelvic, followed by right pectoral and left pelvic. It is the exact same walking pattern used by four-legged land animals, like a horse trotting. You are watching a living snapshot of evolution. This creature is the missing link, the evolutionary bridge between the creatures of the deep sea and the first amphibians that crawled onto land hundreds of millions of years ago. Its skull is equally bizarre. It contains a specialized electroreceptive cavity called the rostral organ, a gel-filled sensor that detects the faint electrical impulses of hidden prey. It is an ancient technology, perfected millions of years before humans even understood electricity. The lifestyle of the coelacanth is a masterclass in energy conservation. It must be, to survive the eons. During the day, they gather in groups inside the volcanic caves, hiding from predatory sharks and the warm surface currents. Inside these dark sanctuaries, they exhibit an alien, almost supernatural behavior. They perform headstands. They hover completely vertically, their snouts pointing toward the cave floor, perfectly motionless, drifting in the gentle currents like suspended statues. When night falls over the abyss, the ghosts emerge. They drift sluggishly along the steep drop-offs, scanning the darkness with their glowing, highly reflective eyes and their electroreceptive snouts. When a small squid or fish is detected, the coelacanth drops its heavy jaw, creating a sudden, powerful vacuum that sucks the prey into a cavernous mouth. A silent kill in a silent world. Today, our robotic submersibles shine their LED lights on this 125.000.000-Year-Old survivor. It is a profound meeting of the distant past and the technological present. But the coelacanth is not a monster to be conquered. It is a fragile relic. It is extremely sensitive to changes in temperature, and it cannot survive in the shallow, sunlit waters of our modern era. It belongs to the deep. It belongs to the dark. As the massive, armored fish slowly retreats backward into the shadows of its cave, vanishing from our view, it leaves us with a humbling realization. The deep ocean is a museum of the ancient earth, keeping its secrets perfectly preserved. And out there, in the unexplored trenches, one must wonder, what other ghosts are still swimming in the dark? For centuries, humanity has stared out at the unforgiving ocean and populated it with monsters. Our ancestors drew maps adorned with terrifying sea serpents, massive, coiled dragons of the deep that dragged entire ships and their screaming crews down into the abyss. We dismissed these stories as the fevered dreams of terrified sailors. We called them myths. We called them legends. But myths are rarely born from nothing. They are born from a seed of truth, buried in the dark. Descend to 1.00 meters below the surface, and you will find that the sea serpent is not a legend. It is entirely, horrifyingly real. Meet the Chlamydocylacus onguneus, the frilled shark, swimming through the eternal twilight of the bathypelagic zone. It does not look like any shark you have ever seen. It lacks the bulky, muscular torso of a great white. Instead, its body is slender, elongated, and serpentine, growing up to 2 meters in length. It undulates through the water exactly like a massive, dark brown eel. A ghost from the late Cretaceous period, over 80.000 years ago. Its name comes from the grotesque, fleshy collar that surrounds its throat. It possesses 6 pairs of gill slits, but like other sharks, the first pair is completely connected across its back, creating a bloody, frilly halo of exposed red respiratory tissue. But the true horror of the frilled shark is hidden behind its lips. When this prehistoric serpent opens its jaws, it reveals a biological weapon of pure nightmare. Its mouth is lined with 25 rows of teeth. But these are not normal, triangular shark teeth. Each of the 300 teeth is shaped like a terrifying, 3-pronged trident, 3 incredibly sharp, backward curving needles on every single tooth. Nearly 1,000 individual hooks designed with one cruel purpose, to ensure that once flesh is bitten, escape is physically impossible. Look into its eye. It does not possess the dead, black doll's eye of a modern shark. It is distinctly reptilian. A cold, calculating slit that tracks movement in the dark. It is the gaze of a predator that has survived the death of the dinosaurs. Because it lives in an environment where food is incredibly scarce, it cannot afford to chase prey over long distances. Instead, the frilled shark relies on an ambush strategy that perfectly matches its snake-like appearance. Hovering in the pitch-black water, it uses its large liver filled with low-density oils to maintain perfect buoyancy. When a deep-sea squid or a smaller fish wanders too close, the serpent prepares to strike. It coils its long, flexible body backward, creating a massive biological spring. And then it lunges. It snaps forward with explosive speed, hyperextending its jaws to engulf the prey. The victim is instantly trapped in the inescapable cage of trident teeth. The backward-facing needles act like a one-way turnstile into hell. Because its jaws are highly articulated, the frilled shark can swallow prey more than half its own size. Its throat massively distends, taking down the meal whole, much like a python swallowing a large mammal. It swallows its prey in the dark. And then it simply fades back into the shadows of the volcanic ridges. It is a creature of absolute isolation. A perfect killing machine that evolution decided to leave completely untouched for 80.000 years. It requires no upgrades. It requires no changes. The frilled shark is a living reminder that our modern ocean is built on top of an ancient, savage world. A world of serpents and tridents, ruling the abyss long before humanity ever dared to sail the surface. As its long, slithering tail disappears into the impenetrable blackness, the abyss returns to its deafening silence. But the horrors of the prehistoric deep are not over yet. For in these same waters, another demon is waiting to unhinge its skull. In the midnight zone, 1.20 meters below the crashing waves of the surface, survival is a game of horrific adaptation. Down here, nature does not care about beauty. It only cares about efficiency. And in the pursuit of efficiency, evolution has produced a creature so bizarre, so profoundly alien, that it challenges our very understanding of what a shark can be. Drifting out of the absolute darkness is a phantom, the Mitsukurino Ostoni, the Goblin Shark. It does not possess the sleek, hydrodynamic armor of a great white. Its body is flabby, soft, and completely devoid of muscle tone, forced to save every precious ounce of energy. But its most unsettling feature is its color. In a world devoid of sunlight, it lacks normal pigment. Its skin is a translucent, sickly pale pink, colored entirely by the oxygen-depleted blood flowing through vessels just beneath the surface. It is a living fossil, echo from the early Cretaceous period, perfectly preserved in the freezing dark for 125.000 years. To look at its face is to look at a biological nightmare. Protruding far past its mouth is a massive, flattened, sword-like snout. This is not a weapon for stabbing. It is an instrument of terrifying precision. In the pitch-black abyss, eyes are nearly useless. The goblin shark's eyes are small and dead, registering only the faintest glimmers of bioluminescence. But it does not need to see you to find you. The underside of its grotesque snout is riddled with hundreds of tiny, dark pores known as the ampullae of Lorenzini. These are incredibly sensitive electroreceptors. As the shark glides silently just inches above the seafloor, sweeping its head from side to side like a biological metal detector, it is actively listening to the electricity of life. A crab buried deep in the mud. A small fish hiding under a rock. The goblin shark cannot see them, but it can feel the microscopic electrical pulses generated by their beating hearts and twitching muscles. In the dark, your own heartbeat betrays you. Once the prey is located, the true horror of the goblin's curse is unleashed. Because its body is so flabby and weak, it cannot swim fast enough to catch fleeing prey. So, evolution gave it a weapon that defies logic. The jaw of the goblin shark is not fused to its skull. It is held in place by a complex system of highly tensioned, elastic ligaments. When the prey is within a few inches, the shark stops swimming. It doesn't lunge with its body. Instead, it catapults its entire mouth forward. In a fraction of a second, the jaw physically detaches from the face and shoots outward at lightning speed. It is a slingshot made of bone and cartilage, bursting forth to close the distance instantly. The mouth is a terrifying cage of long, smooth, needle-like teeth, perfectly designed not to chew, but to violently impale and trap the victim before it even realizes it has been discovered. The violent explosion of movement lasts for less than a tenth of a second. Just as quickly as it shot forward, the elastic ligaments snap the massive, bloody jaw back into the shark's skull, dragging the impaled prey into the dark cavern of its throat. The storm is over. The phantom returns to its state of sluggish, terrifying calm. The goblin shark is a creature condemned to wander the lightless desert, cursed with a grotesque form, yet blessed with the ultimate mechanism for survival. It does not conquer the deep ocean with speed or power. It conquers it with the horrific brilliance of its own anatomy. As its pale pink silhouette fades back into the falling marine snow, it leaves behind only the crushing, eternal silence of the abyss. We have journeyed through the darkest corners of the abyss. We have witnessed the brutal survival of the Sixgill, the miraculous resurrection of the Coelacanth, the serpentine horror of the Frilled Shark, and the biological nightmare of the goblin's jaw. These are the monsters that time forgot, creatures of flesh, teeth, and violence. But there is one more survivor in the deep. And it does not conquer the ocean with weapons. It conquers time with mathematics. Behold the Nautilus Pompilius, the Chambered Nautilus. It does not look like a monster. It looks like a masterpiece of sacred geometry. Its beautifully striped, coiled shell follows the precise logarithmic curve of the Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio of the universe. It is a design so physically perfect, so structurally sound, that evolution decided to stop working on it 500.000 years ago. Before the first trees grew on land, before the rings of Saturn were fully formed, the ancestors of this tiny creature were already jetting through the primordial seas. To look into its face is to look into the extreme distant past. The Nautilus does not possess the complex, highly evolved lenses of an octopus or a modern squid. It has simple pinhole eyes, open directly to the sea, offering only a blurry, primitive view of the dark water. It does not hunt with explosive speed. Surrounding its beak is a crown of up to 90 small, sticky tentacles, used to gently scavenge the ocean floor for the molted shells of crabs and the remains of the dead. Its secret to immortality lies hidden inside its shell. The Nautilus is the original submarine. Its shell is divided into precise, sealed chambers. A specialized tube of tissue called the siphuncle runs through these chambers, actively pumping nitrogen gas and fluid in and out, allowing the creature to adjust its buoyancy with flawless precision. It hovers effortlessly in the crushing dark, a tiny, ancient hot air balloon suspended in the abyss. Every single day, it participates in the greatest mass migration on Earth. As the sun sets, the Nautilus rises from the freezing depths of 800 meters, ascending into the twilight zone under the cover of darkness to feed. But its journey is strictly bound by the laws of physics. Its primitive biology cannot survive the warm temperatures of the sunlit surface. When the first golden rays of dawn pierce the water, the Nautilus must retreat. It vents its gas, increases its density, and sinks back into the freezing, crushing embrace of the midnight zone. It is a cycle that has repeated and broken for 500 million years. Every night it rises. Every morning it falls. The eternal heartbeat of the deep ocean. We humans measure our history in centuries. We build empires of steel and concrete, and we leave our sunken warships scattered across the seafloor as monuments to our fleeting conflicts. But the Nautilus swims past our rusted ruins, completely indifferent. To the Nautilus, the entirety of human existence is barely a fraction of a second. It has survived the death of the dinosaurs. It has survived 5 mass extinctions that wiped out nearly all life on Earth. It is a humbling reminder of our place in the universe. We do not own this blue planet. We are merely its newest, and perhaps its loudest, guest. For below the crashing waves and the noise of our modern world, the abyss remains silent. It is a museum of the ancient earth, a vault of living fossils, guarding the secrets of our ultimate origins. They are the ghosts of the Cretaceous, the phantoms of the deep. They are the monsters that time forgot.